Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again. Okay you guys, so I thought it could be fun today to do like a travel preparation video, but from like a luxury point of view. As many of you know, I had told you guys in my previous videos that the next destination I'm headed to is Johannesburg in South Africa, and then after that I plan to go to Europe. So I wanted to talk to you guys in a little bit more detail about my travel plans, and these are like my travel plans for the next like 4 to 5 months. So I thought it could be fun to kind of chat about it. I'm really excited about the next travel plans that I have coming. So we're going to chat about my travel plans, and we're going to talk about Johannesburg, we're going to talk about Paris. I told you guys I'm going to a mystery location. We won't talk about that obviously because then I'm going to spoil it. But yeah, we have a lot that we need to chat about. I wanted to also just kind of answer some questions that I've been getting from a lot of you about Johannesburg, about the luxury shopping world there, and I was getting lots and lots of questions, so I thought it could be fun to answer them now. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with my next trip. So my next trip is Johannesburg, South Africa. There is a misconception that Johannesburg is the capital of South Africa. That is not true. The capital of South Africa is actually Pretoria, which is very close to Johannesburg. Famous people from Pretoria include a lot of you guys who love this guy called Elon Musk, who founded this company called Tesla. Yes, he is born and bred South African, and he was born in Pretoria. So that's just like a random fun fact I have for you guys. But lots of famous people who are from South Africa, and without a doubt, like one of the most famous people in the world, a huge inspiration, of course, Nelson Mandela, one of many. So, what is in Johannesburg? Have I been there many times? I have been there so many times. Johannesburg is like the business capital of South Africa itself. There are many capital cities in Africa that are known for very vibrant business, like such as Lagos, Nigeria, and I definitely would put Johannesburg with those other two cities as like really famous African cities that people go to do business and stuff like that. So most of the luxury brands have boutiques in Johannesburg, and pretty much all of them have boutiques in this one shopping center called Sandton City. So when I go to Johannesburg in a few weeks time, I will be going there, and in Sandton City there's this like area at the top of the shopping center. It's called the Diamond Walk. It's literally like on the left hand side of the shopping center, and it's like on the top floor. All of the luxury brands are just literally in this one portion of the shopping center called the Diamond Walk. So you have Louis Vuitton, you've got Gucci, you have Bulgari, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, Jimmy Choo, Alexander McQueen, Ferragamo. I'm remembering a lot of them by memory because I know this stuff off the back of my hand. I hope I've said Cartier if I haven't said it already. Cartier as well. So you have all of the major luxury brands that have a presence in Africa are there, okay? And Johannesburg is the first port of call. So essentially what luxury brands do is this. They use Johannesburg as like the gateway to the African market. Every single person who lives in Africa's 54 countries, because remember, Africa's not a country, guys. We need to be very specific where we're talking about. Every person who lives in the 54 countries of the continent who likes luxury understands that they have to shop there. Some of you were like, well, when will Louis Vuitton or Chanel or whatever open your country? I'm like, we don't need it to open in Tanzania. That's completely irrelevant. What we need is luxury brands to continue opening in South Africa, and then if you're interested, you just jump on a plane and you go. So in planning my trip, I'm only really focusing on the brands at the moment that have boutiques in Johannesburg. There are also some locations in Cape Town, if you're familiar with Cape Town, which is another famous city in South Africa. Louis Vuitton's in Cape Town, Gucci's in Cape Town. I think Chanel have a beauty boutique in Cape Town as well. That's like an official Chanel beauty boutique, but Chanel don't have any ready-to-wear or like they don't have any boutiques that sell like ready-to-wear or handbags or anything like that. The brands that are not in South Africa whatsoever include Balmain, they don't have anything there, Fendi, Balenciaga, and there's Chanel and YSL. I actually think that if there's any like brand that I could see going there next, I could actually see Balenciaga doing well. I think the brands that are going to go to Africa and do well have to be brands that do have menswear, because I feel like a brand that doesn't have menswear, I was just thinking about all of the brands that are in like Johannesburg right now. A lot of them have very strong menswear businesses. Like Louis Vuitton has a strong menswear business, Gucci has a strong menswear business. Like you need to have a menswear business, I think. So I could see like Balenciaga maybe, or maybe even YSL. Some of you were like, well, maybe, you know, one day Chanel and Hermes will open that. In a way, I'm actually kind of glad that Chanel and Hermes haven't opened, because I wouldn't want them to open and then do any crazy shenanigans, because they're going to get dragged and I will be the first person to drag them, trust me. So keep your shenanigans out of the motherland, honey, okay, because we do not want to deal with that stress. So that is basically just the introduction. The hotel that I love, and by the way, this isn't sponsored or anything, and this is the hotel I'm going to stay at when I go there in a few weeks' time, is this hotel right here called the Maslow. This is my favorite hotel in South Africa. I've stayed at a bunch of other hotels. There's also a Holiday Inn in Johannesburg, which, believe it or not, is like actually really good. I know you're thinking, whoa, the Holiday Inn, like I would never stay there kind of thing, but it's actually really, really nice. But this one is like a modern luxury hotel. I'm trying to remember how much the rates are per day, and now I can't remember, so I'll put them up on the screen. But it's not particularly expensive, just for like a double room. You can also get a suite if you're interested. I had my marriage proposal here. I remember my now husband, he proposed to me here. We were having dinner and then he proposed, so that's cute. I really like this place because, first of all, it's in Sandton. What is Sandton? Sandton is essentially like it's the most like luxury upscale neighborhood of Johannesburg. So you have all these other different neighborhoods. You've got neighborhoods such as Morningside. There are a lot of neighborhoods there. There's a neighborhood called Hyde Park, and then you have Sandton. Sandton is in this district called Gauteng, and Sandton is like really, really like the creme de la creme of Johannesburg. I believe it is the most one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Johannesburg and in South Africa. Generally speaking, they're like multi-million-dollar mansions there and things like that, and all of the luxury hotels, pretty much, they have hotels in that neighborhood. Sandton is also obviously the location of Sandton City, which is the shopping center where all of the luxury brands are. And I've already told you that they're in that enclosed area called the Diamond Walk. So I hope that I've kind of just explained everything, so that when you see my videos in a few weeks' time, you'll understand like everything that you're saying. So essentially, Sandton is like, for those of you from the UK, Sandton is like the Belgravia or Knightsbridge of Johannesburg, essentially. But this is my favorite hotel. I've always loved this place. It's really, really nice. It's very sleek. It's got great furnishings. You know, a lot of the times when you go to hotels, they can look really dated, and they can look, they don't look sleek, and they don't look cool or edgy and stuff. Something I noticed about this hotel was it just looked really, really nice. Like every time that we go there, it always looks fresh. You can tell that they really take care of the property. I'm really excited to go back there, because obviously I haven't been to South Africa ever since C19, so I'm just so excited. And in fact, if you look through my original videos on here, you'll see my final videos from South Africa were just before C19 happened, which is now like 2 years ago, which is crazy. So I really hope that you guys will like those videos, because they are they're not like luxury shopping videos, because at that time I was still like learning the hang of doing vlogs. So I would like vlog anywhere. I'd like walk into a shop and then start recording. So that is a hotel that I'll probably be staying at. There's another hotel called the Park Inn. I'm not crazy about this hotel. I don't like it that much. This hotel is very popular. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not the place that I like. So the Maslow is always my first port of call. Anytime I go to Johannesburg, I want to stay at the Maslow. I'm also a creature of habit. I'm not someone who likes to try new places all the time. I like continuity. I like stability when I'm traveling. I like to know what I'm expecting. I've stayed at a lot of different hotels, and for me, if any of you are watching this and you're maybe going to go to Johannesburg at some point in the future, and you want to stay at a nice hotel with great breakfast, really, really nice clean rooms, and a very soft version of luxury, go stay at the Maslow. Now, there is another hotel, which I believe is also in Johannesburg, and this hotel is called the Saxon. I'm just going to try and pull it up really quickly here on my phone. The Saxon is definitely more like it kind of reminds me of like the Mandarin Oriental. So for those of you who want somewhere that's much more, like I would say the Maslow, I would say the Maslow is more like I said, like a soft, like modern luxury hotel that is, it's not like super expensive, but it really does have that like very high end luxe finish. Whereas I would say the Saxon is like, I don't know, I would say the Saxon is much more ritzy, it's much more high end. And yeah, I mean, I would say that the Saxon is much more ritzy and much more high end if you're into that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure lots of celebrities have stayed at the Saxon as well. So if you're into that kind of thing, you can go. So it's like the Saxon is like villas basically, and then you have suites within villas. Okay, I've never stayed there, but I have friends who have stayed there, and who've also stayed at the Maslow, and they've told me that it's very, very high end, super luxurious, definitely much more luxurious than the Maslow, but it also comes with the price tag to match. So if you're looking for a hotel recommendation and you want to know a hotel recommendation for Johannesburg, without a shadow of a doubt, the Maslow in Sandton is my favorite hotel, and that is where I'll be staying when I go there in a few weeks' time. Okay, another thing which I wanted to mention, which I think is important, because I know I have Tanzanians and Kenyans watching my videos, and that is the South African authorities, I think very recently said they made some changes to PCR tests for international travelers, and I'm pretty sure that this affects like African tourists as well. And I think that they said that essentially you just have to be vaccinated. You don't have to like do the PCR test basically when you arrive. I just need to double check that right now. I'm here just to make sure that I'm saying the correct thing. But essentially, whatever I'm saying, I'll put it up on the screen, whatever the correct thing is. But obviously, it goes without saying that you should be researching and knowing like what are the entry requirements of going to these countries, like regardless of where you're from. I think like the days of just like jumping on a plane and traveling somewhere without like adequately like researching like what you know need to do and what are the requirements like for you, I think those days have long gone. So yeah, I just wanted to just kind of like mention that because I do think it's relevant. When I went to Paris in January, there were very stringent rules about doing the PCR test, and in fact I remember we actually missed our flight heading home because we had made a mistake with the PCR test, like we didn't take it on time or something, and then they wouldn't let us board. It was a really crazy time for us because we were like, oh my god, now you know we're gonna miss our flight, and then they put us on another flight. So just make sure that you know what you're doing before you end up going there, because you don't want to like, I don't know, like you don't want to go there and then you get to the airport and then they turn you back and they're like, no, you can't do that. Okay, yeah, this is it. So what South Africa said is that they no longer require the PCR test for vaccinated travelers. Okay, so if you are inoculated against the virus, you don't have to do the PCR test. So it says here, South Africa has dropped mandatory negative results for inbound fully inoculated travelers, a move expected to boost tourism numbers. Travelers entering travelers entering South Africa will need to show proof of vaccination or a negative PCR test not older than 72 hours. Previously, all travelers entering the country were required to produce a negative PCR test. Okay, so that's good because I'm fully inoculated against you know what. So that means that now I don't have to produce I don't have to do a negative PCR test before traveling. So that is very exciting, and definitely I remember they had announced that in March. I remember when I heard that, I remember thinking, ooh, that's really exciting because that's definitely going to encourage people to want to travel to the country and everything like that. Another thing is, yeah, just to quickly touch on the whole thing of being inoculated against you know what. When it pertains to C19, I have to say in January, I remember getting DMs from some of you asking me like, wow, you seem so confident about traveling, like you don't seem nervous or afraid or worried. I was like, I'm not nervous or afraid because I am inoculated against you know what. If I wasn't inoculated against you know what, I wouldn't have gone traveling because I wouldn't have felt safe. I know that the whole issue of inoculations and mandatory inoculations and all the rest of it gets people really wound up, and people really have a moan about it and fight about it. To be honest with you, to be completely blunt and to be gangster about it, I don't really care. I just wanted to be safe and to be healthy, and I wanted to enjoy Paris and not get ill. I went to Paris, I was fully inoculated. I was, you at that time, I think you did have to wear a mask in Paris. I believe at the moment you don't. I'm going to check the requirements, but I didn't feel safe or anything. My husband and I, we both never caught it. We never got sick, and we were in lots of public places. Paris was completely rammed. The whole idea of social distancing, there was no social distancing in Galerie Lafayette. There's no social distancing in Printemps. But I believe if you're fully inoculated against, you know what, I think it's completely fine to travel. So I'm not worried about traveling to South Africa. I'm not worried about going anywhere because I'm fully inoculated, okay? I'm not trying to get preachy and try and dictate to any of you guys what to do with your health. We're all adults and everyone makes their own decision. I personally would not travel if I wasn't inoculated. That's my personal feeling, and to be completely blunt, I don't think it's good form to travel if you're not inoculated, in my opinion. So if you're watching this, you're thinking about going to Johannesburg to do shopping, or you're going to go to Paris, or you're going to go to London, wherever you're going, make sure that you're inoculated, okay? So I just wanted to get on my soapbox there for a minute. All right, the next thing that I wanted to talk about when it pertains to Johannesburg is a question I was getting a lot, which is about safety. I get this question a lot. I think people have heard different things about South Africa. Lots of people have been saying to me, like, they've heard that South Africa is not safe. Like, how do I feel about going there? Been to South Africa many times, been to Johannesburg many times. I've always felt safe. However, what I will say is, as with all places, use common sense. I don't understand. Okay, and some of you, no offense, some of you are from countries in the West that, in my opinion, many people here would think are not safe. Okay, in our country here, you're not allowed to have I can't say that the word. It begins with the letter G. It's a device that has a projectile, and when you pull this thing on it, it shoots the projectile out, and that projectile can maim, hurt other people. It begins with the letter G, okay? You know what I'm talking about. We don't have those things here. You're not allowed to have them in Tanzania without a license. The only way to get license is to go to the military, okay? We don't have those things here. We don't have things like that here. We don't have situations where people can just walk into a shop, buy those things, and start hurting people. In other countries of the world, some of you have been going through situations where people buy those things and then hurt many people at once. I think you guys, know what I'm referring to. South Africa has very different laws when it pertains to those particular things. If you're watching this and you're South African, you're allowed to own them and everything, but people don't own them to walk around with them. People own them and keep them in their property. So when people, like some of you are like asking me about safety in terms of those devices, there's nothing to worry about, because it's my understanding in South Africa, particularly in the really nice high-end luxurious places, first of all, you're not going to see people walking around on the street anyway. Everyone drives in the really nice high-end places. And number two, people keep those things at home. When it pertains to things like maybe potentially like being mugged or something like that, you need to always use like a taxi. So I wouldn't recommend like walking around on your own there, like outside of the shopping center, if you're a tourist and if you're new to the city. I definitely won't, like when I go there, I won't be like walking outside of the shopping center on my own. There's another shopping center, by the way, called the Mall of Africa, and that is the largest shopping center on the African continent, so I'll be going to that one as well. It's about using common sense. So for example, in my city of Dar es Salaam, I feel relatively fine to walk around, but that's because in Dar es Salaam and in Tanzania, broadly speaking, there's certain rules about like I said, those things that have projectiles that if you pull them, the projectile comes out and can hurt other people, beginning with the letter G, ending with the letter N. We don't have those things here. So you don't have to worry about walking around somewhere and someone having that on them. It's very rare that someone will walk around with that. If they do walk around with that, they're probably known to the police or to the military authorities. Another thing is also using like common sense in terms of understanding your safety if you're a woman. So if you're watching this and you're a woman and maybe you're going to travel to Johannesburg, or even if you were going to come here, you would need to use common sense as a female traveler. I think a lot of the times, like people who do travel, and particularly women who travel on their own, don't be a martyr, okay, in a country that's not your own. Be respectful, go to that country and be respectful. So for example here, women dress quite conservatively here. Even during the day, people don't really wear short skirts here. And yeah, maybe at night, if you go to a nightclub, you know, there'll be women wearing short skirts. But generally speaking, if they're wearing short skirts, they're there with their boyfriend or their husband or whatever. People here don't really dress like that. So if you are a female traveler and you come to Dar and you're wearing like really short shorts and you're walking around, yeah, people are going to stare at you and people are going to feel awkward and uncomfortable, and they will stare at you and you will draw attention. However, in Johannesburg, I would say that South Africa is definitely way more liberal than Tanzania, broadly speaking, and then Johannesburg specifically, I would say, is much more liberal than Dar es Salaam. Absolutely, because all the other times I've been there, I've seen women dressed in all kinds of ways, and no one really seems to mind, no one really seems to care, to be honest. But like I said, everyone is also jumping in cabs in the really nice areas. People just take taxis, people take Ubers. You don't really see people, unless they are native South Africans, walking around. So use common sense when it pertains to your safety. It was the same thing when I went to Paris. You know, got lots of questions about, is Paris safe? Well, ask yourself, are you from a country that would be considered safe by Parisians? It's easy to look at Paris if you're from a country where maybe people do walk around with those devices, and people can walk in and into a shop and buy that thing beginning with the letter G. Are you from a country like that? Because I guarantee you in France, they might look at you and be like, well, you can walk in and buy that. In my country, we can't do that. It's all about perspective and using common sense. I was in Paris, I was walking around with tons of shopping, all of the time, nothing ever happened to me, but I also knew what I was doing with my time, and I knew where I was going. I didn't ask for help from anyone. I was always on a mission, honey. Like, I remember getting to Opera and getting close to Printemps, you know, getting off, getting out of the taxi, going straight to Printemps. I knew what I was doing. I didn't have time to be stopped for someone to try and snatch, you know, my bag or anything, or take anything from me, because I was on a mission and I knew what I was doing. So I would just recommend having that sense of purpose and knowing what you're doing. If you don't look like a tourist that's lost, you're not going to attract that kind of attention from the people who maybe want to do something to you. Because definitely in Paris, like, they will, the moment you let your guard down and you look like you're on your phone, you look lost, you look like you're looking like, oh, where's Louis Vuitton, Place Vendôme, like, where's Hermes? And if you look lost, like, that moment, those people just approach you, and then that's when you could be taken advantage of. I'm not saying that bad things couldn't have happened to me. I have been mugged before when I was in the UK. It's not a good feeling, but use common sense when it pertains to security. It doesn't matter whether you're in Johannesburg, Dar es Salaam, or Paris, or New York. Use common sense and make sure that you're not doing anything that you wouldn't do in your own home country. Would you walk as a female solo traveler at home at 11:45 p.m. at night? I'm willing to bet most people, even if you lived in London, even if you lived in New York or Miami or elsewhere, I'm pretty sure if it was 11:45, you would not walk home alone from a club or a bar to your property alone. So don't do that in Johannesburg. Don't do that in Dar es Salaam. So I hope that we're all just we all kind of know what we're doing. I hope no one thinks I'm singling anyone out or anything like that. Because like I said, I've had bad things happen to me as well in foreign countries. But use common sense and have like a sense of purpose. I feel like when you're like that, it's very hard for people to like take advantage of you. Of course, bad things can happen, and they do happen, but I think it just helps to minimize anything potentially bad happening. I think if you're traveling there with your boyfriend or your husband, you know, it's a similar thing. I would say that definitely for here though, I feel like traveling with your boyfriend or your husband, there's definitely that extra layer of security, because I feel like particularly here, I mean, in different African countries, I do feel like people do have that respect when they see like a woman with her boyfriend or her husband. They kind of just leave you alone. It is what it is. So I just thought it was worth mentioning. So I'm really excited about my Johannesburg trip that's coming up. I got a lot of questions from you guys about, you know, was I going to do vlogs for it and things like that. Yes, of course, I'm going to do vlogs for it. And definitely I'll do like shopping vlogs. I'm so excited to go to the Louis Vuitton and the Ferragamo and the Gucci boutiques and Cartier and Bulgari. So I'll definitely film shopping vlogs and stuff, and I will make sure that I'm buying something. Don't worry, I won't go in there and touch everything and not buy anything. So I'm super excited. I can't wait about that. Now I want to talk to you guys about my trip that will be after Johannesburg, which will be obviously going to Europe, and of course Paris will be, you know, a focus of that. Once I'm done with Johannesburg, I will come back and work, and then a few months after my Johannesburg trip, I will then go back to Europe. Now, Europe requires much more like effort and legwork to arrange, because I need to go there for more time. The Johannesburg trip will be a few days. I think it will be like 3-4 days. Another benefit to the Joburg trip, which I forgot to mention, is Tanzania and the Republic of South Africa have bilateral agreements when it pertains to their citizens traveling to each respective countries, meaning that if you're South African, you can jump on a plane today without a visa and come to Tanzania. If you're Tanzanian, you can jump on a plane today without a visa and go to South Africa. That is incredibly helpful because you don't have to go through the really stressful rigmarole of applying for visas and all the rest of it. Now, for the US, I have to apply for a visa. For the United Kingdom, I have to apply for a visa. For the EU/France/the Schengen zone, I have to apply for a visa. So you can now see how complicated traveling becomes. So in January, I remember we applied for the visa and we did get the visa, and I think we got the visa like after, I think it was like a week or something. We got the visa, and then we obviously went to France. So I would have to do that process all over again. Some of you didn't really know like how visas work for people who are from countries where France requires a visa. So let me explain super quick. If you're from a country like mine, like Tanzania, France will require you to get a tourist visa for a set period of time. And then when you're at the embassy, you can explain to them like, yeah, you know, I want to go for like a week, I want to go for 2 weeks, and it's up to the discretion of the visa officer to decide how many days that you get. I remember getting this comment, again, very ignorant comment, okay? It was a very ignorant comment. I don't think that the person meant to be hurtful, but it was quite ignorant, and the person was saying, basically kind of having a little bit of a go at me, saying, you know, you make such a big deal about the fact that you went to France, like if you have the money to go, then it shouldn't be a big deal that you, just because you're from an African country, that you went. The person deleted their comment, by the way. I had tried to explain to that person that it is a process getting the visa. If you're from another African country, you have to go through this process. You have to show evidence of funds. You have to prove why you're going there. You have to say why you're going there. You have to say like what you're going to be doing in Paris or France, broadly speaking. And they want to hear from that. So any person who's from any African country, I can pretty much guarantee, if you have if your citizenship is from any of the 54 African countries, you'll have to tell the French visa officer, oh, I'm going to go to Hermes, I'm going to go to Chanel because I want to go shopping and I want to buy things. You have to go there, you have to be able to prove it. So the reason why I was saying that is because it is a process. It's not as simple as if I was American or if I had a British passport or I had a Canadian passport, I can just literally jump on a plane today and go. Because a lot of you were telling me when it pertains to the Big H lottery, why can't I apply from the lottery now, and then once the lottery comes through, just jump on a plane? I was like, I can't do that because I have to have a visa, and the visa is given at the discretion of the visa officer. So sometimes they can give you, sometimes it can be a month. I think they gave us like a month last time. So obviously by the time that by the time it was like the end of January, my visa expired, so I have to go through the process again to apply again. So I hope that kind of illuminates why it's not that simple for people who are from countries where a visa is required. France looks at each country differently. There'll be some countries that require a visa, there'll be some countries that don't, but generally speaking, all the countries who are in Africa, all of the countries in the West Indies, if you're watching this and you're in the West Indies, it's probably the same for you. You will have to apply for a visa each time that you go there. Sometimes it could be like, okay, we'll give you a 2-month visa. Well, if I'm already going there for like maybe 2 weeks, I'm not necessarily going to come back in 2 months. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that kind of just explains it. That person deleted their comment, okay, because people end up saying things that are ignorant. But I much prefer it if you just like ask me like in your Michael Jackson voice. Like, don't try and be like, well, and the person was like, well, if you have the money, you'd be able to go there and whatever you want. It's like, it's not about having the money. It's also about organizing like the time that it takes to apply for the visa. So I can't apply for the Big H Parisian lottery from here, because if I was to get it, I mean, obviously it's Sunday right now, but let's say I was to get it tomorrow, right? Let's say I apply tomorrow and then I get it for Tuesday. I'm not going to get I can't go to the French embassy in Dar and get a visa in 48 hours. That's not how it works. They have their protocols and you have to wait. You have to do things their way. So I hope that helps to kind of explain that, because I was getting that a lot. So I just wanted to clear that up as well. All right, the next thing that I wanted to chat about is something which I've seen being talked about a lot in forums and groups. And I think I was telling one of you privately, we were having a chat about it. I've actually changed my mind on the whole like enjoy Paris thing, or the whole enjoy Paris thing, and I'm going to tell you why. When I went to Paris in January, I think I definitely fell for the whole enjoy Paris, and I really did. We had such a great time. It was such a great time. I loved the time that I spent there, but I think that we need to be very plain and be very blunt. The people who succeed in Paris are more likely to film videos on YouTube. So many of you have sent me, lots of videos by different people. You don't need to send me videos, guys. I know the tea, I know the drill and the shenanigans that go on in Paris. But a lot of people who don't succeed are going, on the bus forum and saying I didn't succeed. They are going in groups saying I didn't succeed. I've got tons of PMs from you guys privately in DM saying, oh, I was there and I wasn't successful, and no one wants to say that they weren't successful. For me, it's not a big deal to come on in January to say I wasn't successful, because it just didn't work out, but it's not a big deal. I had a great time. I went to, Louis Vuitton, I had a great time there. I shopped at other places, I really loved the department store. So I can't wait to go back to Paris, actually, so I can go back to La Samaritaine again. I can go back to Prince Hop and Galerie Lafayette. There were lots of benefits of being there from a shopping point of view. So when people say like enjoy Paris, Paris is more than just a bag, I know what people mean, and I feel like I fell for that as well. And people mean well, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to score like a Birkin, a Kelly, or a Constance, and even the Constance is really hard to get offered right now, people are not getting that bag offered. I have a theory on why I think that's happening in terms of Paris, but a lot of people are saying that to themselves. A lot of people are telling others, particularly in forums and groups, like you hear this all the time, like, oh, don't worry, it's more than just a handbag. But at the end of the day, everyone is on the Paris thread on the Post forum because of a handbag, not because of, Paris, and Paris is amazing. It's, one of the top 10 cities of the world, no doubt about it. Top 5, frankly. People want to score at Big H, and that is why people are congregating there. A lot of you have joined my Facebook group because you're also headed to Paris and you want to chat to other people who've been there. By the way, my group is linked below, and I feel like if you have scored in Paris or you want to score in Paris, I feel like my group is like one of the best. I'm gonna say it now. My group is one of the best groups on Facebook for sharing tea about the situation in Paris. So many group members have been, just since I was there in January, so many people in the group have been to Paris. Some people have been successful, some people haven't. It's a very true look into the situation in Paris. And people say like, well, enjoy it anyway. It's such an incredible city and stuff. That's true. And everyone wants to enjoy Paris, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, people are sharing in groups and forums because they want to score. It's a little bit disingenuous, I think, for me anyway, to be like, if I don't score this time, I won't be disappointed. Of course I'll be disappointed. And I think it's okay for me to be like, you know what, I want to be successful this time around. I want to make sure that I am successful. What I learned about Paris from my trip in January is that you can't really rely on everything that is going on in Paris. So when I went in January, there was a really good friend of mine who is French, but she was like on holiday, and then she was like, by the time that she was coming back from her holiday, I would have left Paris, but she doesn't actually live there anymore, and she invited me to the town where she does live. Now, the town where she lives obviously isn't Paris, it's outside of Paris, and it's in the countryside. In that town, and it's to be honest, it's more like a city/town. There is an Hermes boutique that is company owned. It's not Lyon, it's not Marseille, it's not a place that anyone really talks about on YouTube. Frankly, I haven't really heard anyone discuss this location. On Instagram or social media, I haven't heard anyone who films these big H Parisian videos even mention this location. So that says two things. First of all, either that location is like completely not going to happen and you're not going to get an offer, or that location could be like an untapped market basically for trying to score. When it pertains to scoring to me would be important, but I'm not going to inconvenience myself to score. I'm only going to ask for a back and a Kelly or a Constance if I am in the city anyway for a touristic reason. So obviously I've been invited to that town by my friend, so I will definitely go there to visit her. And the bonus is that there is a big H boutique, so of course when I go visit her in that town, I will absolutely go to the local big H boutique and ask. It's not a franchise either, it's company owned. I'm not going to say the location for now because I want to keep that kind of close to my chest and keep that a little bit close to me for some privacy. But it's basically with that particular location, it's my understanding that if the stock is there, and particularly if they receive new stock and you ask the day that they have received it, you have a higher chance of walking away with a Birkin, Kelly or Constance. It might not necessarily be the color that you want, but it will definitely be like a quota bag, assuming that you go when they have a stock delivery. Now obviously the regional boutiques, they're not necessarily going to get stock deliveries every week. You don't know when that could happen. So it's definitely a chance thing, but I will give it a go because I'm going to visit her anyway, and I'm going to go to that town anyway. And there is a big Asian boutique in her town, so I might as well ask. Essentially, that will kind of be like my insurance policy if I fail in Paris. And I'm definitely going to do my best to make sure that I have a good chance of succeeding in Paris. From what I can see, many people are getting appointments after pre-spend and also after trying multiple days in advance. Some people have been trying for a week and then getting the appointment via the lottery. Some people have been trying for 2 weeks. I need to make sure that I score the first week that I'm there because I don't want to spend a long time there. I'd like to go to other places in Europe as well. I don't just want to go to Paris this time around. I want to go to other places within Europe as well. So I need to make sure that I score ASAP. Anytime I say this, I get messages from you guys. I get people fighting me in comments. I get people fighting me in DMs. But at the end of the day, if it's kind of like that old saying, like, the greatest thing the devil ever did is convincing the world that he doesn't exist. The greatest thing pre-spend in Paris did was convincing people that she doesn't exist. And let me tell you, sweetheart, pre-spend in Paris, boo-boo, she exists, okay? So don't let people be like, it doesn't matter. It does. Sorry, it does. If you are successful on the rigged lottery, because it is rigged, okay, good for you. But most people who are getting offers at this point have some sort of pre-spend, whether they've bought a nail varnish, a lip, or just a lipstick, or just some runs. People are buying something to kind of put their name in the hat and to put their name in the running. It's not 1-to-1, it's not maybe necessarily 0.5 to 1, but people are definitely spending. I'm under no illusions about pre-spend. I know it plays a role. It's not necessarily a 1-to-1 situation. And anytime I say this, there are always those of you who are coming in the comments like, well, this person, you know, someone who has like 700,000, you know, followers on Instagram, like that person went and didn't, you know, have to spend anything and they got an offer. Well, that's what they're telling you. But most people are buying something, even if it's something small. I would say like 90% of the people who are getting Burke and Kelly Constance offers are buying something small. Maybe people are spending a few €1,000s to like make their profile look good, but most people do have something small on the books before they get their offer. I remember once in this group seeing someone who said that like pre-spend in Paris didn't matter, and she literally had like boxes and boxes and boxes like from her Paris haul, and then she had like a Birkin in the center, and then she's like, but pre-spend doesn't matter, but you literally bought boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. So yeah, I do think it plays a role. I have a theory exactly of like what I think you need to spend, but again, I'm keeping that a little bit close to my chest because I don't really care about people's opinions on it. I'm pretty sure that I'm right though, in terms of how it works. I think another thing is like you need a lot of time, I think, in order to score these appointments, and I think like you do need time. I think the days where someone could fly in for like 2 days, particularly if you're going there alone, like you're not going with your husband or your boyfriend, because they do like men, and I think that they're more willing to squeeze men in and to accommodate men in the boutiques. But I think, you know, the days of saying you're going to go there for like 2 to 3 days and you're just going to fly in, you know, for 2 to 3 days and you're going to try and score, that's not going to happen right now. I feel like that there's just too much competition. I think you need to be flexible and you need to be willing to go there and spend a decent amount of time, and you definitely need to go there and try your best to stand out financially. You can take from that what you will. There will definitely be some of you who like right now, as in 2022, June, May, April, who, yeah, did get lucky. You did go there and you got lucky and, you know, you didn't have to do anything. But I would say most people who are going to Paris and scoring now, people who don't have connections at their home store, people who aren't VIPs. If you're a VIP, don't even bother trying to make it seem like you didn't need a purchase history, because if you're a VIP in your local store, your SA or the store manager can definitely make an introduction for you for Paris, okay? Hey, I really don't like when Big H VIPs on Instagram do this and make it seem like they played the lottery like everyone else when they are spending, you know, $200,000 in their home store. Obviously, if you're a VIP in your local store, you're not going to be like treated the same as like just anyone else, you know, turning up there. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it when it pertains to the Big H stuff. So basically, in summary, I have an insurance policy because I'm going to go visit my friend anyway. Some of you were telling me like through the group and in private messages like, well, why don't you go here? I've heard people score. Why don't you go here? I heard a YouTuber scored here. I'm not going anywhere in France that I'm not going anyway. As much as I would love to score and it would be fantastic to score, it's not going to take over the trip and make the trip a misery, like trying to go around to different cities in France trying to score. I'm only going to score in places, or to try and score in places that I'm going anyway. So for example, I was going to visit her anyway. She's my friend. I'm going to visit her anyway. Whether there was a Big H boutique there or not, I was going anyway because she invited me. As luck would have it, there is a Big H boutique in that town where she lives, so I will go and try there. But I'm definitely not going to go to like like Lyon. If I'm not going to Lyon, I'm not going there anyway, if that makes sense. Because for me, I have to still be enjoying my holiday. I have to be like, okay, cool, you know, we're going to try and score a Big H, but there's this going on, this is popping, this is lit, and I'm going to be doing other things. So I hope that makes sense. That's the only way for me to like enjoy like the sort of big H shenanigans. I wouldn't enjoy it if I was like chasing a coat bag around France. It's yeah, I mean, of course you want to score, but it's not going to be that important that it's going to like take over my trip and make my trip a misery. And then I wanted to also talk about Louis Vuitton and Chanel and Dior. I feel like when I went on my trip in January, I feel like I didn't really like enjoy Chanel that much. I didn't go to Dior at all in terms of the flagships. I just went to the standalone concession at La Samaritaine. I mean, the standalone concession, the department store concession at La Samaritaine. So this time around, I'm definitely going to go to Chanel more. I want to visit more of the Chanels there, Dior, Fendi, Balenciaga. I want to visit like those brands more and kind of get a feel for what's going on for those brands. I feel like with Balenciaga, I only went to the department store concessions. I didn't make it to the flagship boutique, which I think is on the Rue Saint-Honoré, if I'm not mistaken. I also, of course, want to go to Moschino. I did make it to the Moschino boutique on the Rue Saint-Honoré, but it was closed because I remember I went on Sunday, and that was the day that I went to the Versace boutique as well. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it in terms of the like luxury shops. Like, what is my approach going to be? My approach is I'm going everywhere. It's not just about Big H. I remember seeing this comment on someone's Big H Paris video, and it was saying how all luxury YouTubers are going to Paris right now. Like, what's going on? Like, the past, like, you know, maybe 6 to 9 months, like, luxury YouTubers have just been going to Paris. Like, people are doing this for views. The person had left a comment on someone else's Paris video. Let me tell you something. The views do not pay or even justify a Paris trip financially whatsoever. And I'm saying that being that, like, when I went, I think I had like 3,000, I don't remember how many subscribers I've had. I think I had like 3,500 at the time in January when I went, and now I have 4,000. The views, in my opinion, don't justify the financial outlay of, you know, in my case, paying for visas and applying for those, paying for really like pricey flights, which are very, very expensive, paying for the hotels and paying for your food and all the rest of it, and obviously doing your own luxury shopping, which you're going to pay for, and you're going to do other shopping as well. In my opinion, I don't think that the views justify the financial outlay, but definitely Paris videos are very popular. But that, for me anyway, I don't think most luxury YouTube channels are thinking I'm going to go to Paris so that I can make money from the channel. They're not. Even a channel that has a lot of subscribers and followers is not going to generate the views necessary to justify that visit financially. So whenever people say YouTubers are doing this for views and to make money, in my case, no way. It's not a money-making thing whatsoever. I'm going there because I want to, and I want to go on holiday and have a great time. I'm going to Johannesburg because I want to go there and have a great time, and I want to go to Paris because I want to have a great time. And not just Paris, I want to go to other places in Europe this time around. And like I told you guys, I have another location that I'm going to go to as well. So whenever you guys hear people say that, like, oh, they're doing it for money, they're doing it for views and stuff, let me assure you, okay, the money that a YouTuber makes, like, trust me, that person is using money that they've made from their job, their income, or they've inherited money in order to fund those trips, because the money you make from your YouTube channel will not justify, you know, a $10,000, $20,000 a Paris trip. It just won't. So I just want to be very clear. It definitely gets people interested in your channel. You get new subscribers, you get lots of comments on those videos, you get people super excited and stuff, but it does not justify it. So I don't want anyone coming here with those comments like, oh, you're going there because you want people to subscribe to your channel. Trust me, like, my career and my job is what is funding my Johannesburg and future Paris trips. It is not this YouTube channel. Okay, so just to be very clear about that. So I just wanted to, yeah, be very clear about that as well. So yeah, I'm so excited for my trips. So I've been just getting ready and planning those. So I think you can now see the contrast between planning a trip within the African continent, Johannesburg, and planning a trip to Europe. I think you can see that planning the Paris trip takes much more time and effort on my behalf, because I have to really organize the visas, and that takes ages as well. And you have to make sure that when you apply for visas, you're applying correctly and that you're not making any mistakes, because you don't want to get rejected or anything like that. So that's going to take quite a bit of time. But I'm really excited about that trip. So essentially we'll just be going to Paris, and then I'll go visit my friend friend outside of Paris. And that trip where I visit my friend in that town, like I said, and it's not a town that many of you know when it pertains to Big H, because no one has mentioned this town on YouTube ever. It's not Cannes, it's not Nice, it's not Lyon. No one has mentioned this place ever. So I will report back, and essentially I will use that place as a insurance policy to see if I can score there, but hopefully I'll be successful in Paris. But I actually feel really excited about trying to score outside of Paris, because I feel like the locations outside of Paris, like the opportunities there, because everyone just thinks about Paris all the time. I do think that there are opportunities as well outside of Paris. So if you're headed, for example, like let's say you're going to the south of France this year, yeah, just give it a go. Instead of the whole Paris obsession, like the thing that everyone says in groups and forums is like, oh, Paris has the most stock. I mean, what does stock play if you can't even get an appointment, you can't even get a walk-in? So we'll see how I do this time around. I'm incredibly patient. No one is more patient than me. If it happens, it will happen by God's plan, and if I'm meant to have it, I will have it in God's timing and God's plan. So I'm not too worried about it. At the end of the day, I will try my best to get it while I have the energy now. But yeah, I feel much more confident about my choices, because I feel like I know so much more about the Parisian game, because there is a game in Paris. Like, I actually have a conspiracy theory that a lot of people who are blogging about Paris and who comment on Paris don't want competition in Paris. So they tell people, like, this is my conspiracy theory, they tell people like, oh, what you spend doesn't matter, but they know very well that they're spending money okay, in the 3 Parisian stores, making their profile look really, really good, and then all of a sudden they get offers and people get things but other people don't. A lot of people have essays in Paris and buy other things and get great offers and don't disclose that. I think I saw someone in a group do that as well. She had got a really great quota offer from Paris, and I remember looking at her offer thinking, wow, that's a really great offer. And then I saw some other posts that she had put, and like she showed like the bait that she had bought from Paris, but in another post where she didn't reference it, but she did say, oh, I bought these in Paris. And I'm like, whoa, the bait that she purchased in Paris absolutely was the reason why she got that great quota offer. Like, they would not have offered that bag to someone who didn't have like a purchase history. I definitely think that I also think that Big H do stuff like that, where they for example, like a neutral Kelly or Birkin or Constance, I feel like for them, they don't care about that. They will happily offer that to you without purchase history. But to me, like a Kelly Pochette without purchase history, I doubt it. That's just me, and that's how I feel. And please, like I said, don't fight me, because don't bring up in 2012 you were offered a Kelly Pochette. Okay? Don't talk to me about 2012, boo-boo. Okay, 10 years ago, no one's checking for, 10 years ago. Come on now, we're not checking for that. So. I do think that there are things like that are happening in Paris, where people are being offered different things depending on spend. I definitely think that is a thing. So I feel like if you're just asking for a gold Kelly or a Cellier gold Birkin, I feel like you're gonna get that without like a purchase history. But I definitely feel like a Kelly Pochette. Kelly Pochettes are very rare. The Kelly Pochette was designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Like, I don't see them just offering the Kelly Pochette like that. That's just my feeling, and that's how I feel about it. I feel like the Mini Kelly is a similar thing. The Mini Kelly is sold so heavily at resale. They know almost everyone walking in is asking for a Mini Kelly. I think it's the same thing with the Mini Kelly. I think the Mini Kelly is also in a similar situation. So I do think that there is like a hierarchy in Paris of offers. I think the 25 centimeter Birkin and Kellys in certain colors, like in a neutral color, I don't see that being as difficult as, say, the Kelly Pochette or the Mini Kelly. So that's just like my theory as well. I also don't think exotics are a guarantee either. I also feel like they keep exotics for their big spenders in Paris. Some of you were like, oh, exotics should be easy to get. Then it's not a guarantee. Nothing's ever really a guarantee. So we'll see how I get on. That trip will be in a few months' time, but obviously my Johannesburg trip is coming up very soon, in a few weeks' time. So if you like travel videos and travel vlogs, I think you'll really enjoy that. So really hope to see you guys here. Make sure that you're fully subscribed to my channel, you like this video, you go join the group, and yeah, make sure you follow me on Instagram and my TikTok as well. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say, if you're excited about my upcoming trips. So just to summarize, heading to Johannesburg in a few weeks, and I'll be back in Paris/Europe in a few months' time. And yeah, I'm really, really excited. And also, I forgot to mention, when I go back to Paris, I will be going to the Audemars Piguet boutique, which is very close to FSH. I'm going to try and get an appointment there. Shout out to Lucia, who's one of the admins of my group. She was telling me about like how to get an appointment at Audemars Piguet. It's also very complicated and you need to apply in advance, and it's also, you know, the Hunger Games as well. I feel like luxury has become the Hunger Games, so I think I will also do a video on that, because right now I feel like trying to score anything, whether it's a watch, a handbag, it's hard work. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this travel prep video. Some of you had asked me like, will you do those like pack with me videos? I find those videos a little bit intrusive. I enjoy watching them from other creators. I probably won't film mine, but I feel like maybe the day before I jump on the plane going to Johannesburg, I might just tell you all the things I'm taking with me, but I won't like show you. There's something about them that feels a little bit intrusive. I don't know what it is. Tell me if you understand what I mean by that. But anyway, I hope that you guys have been enjoying my video so far. It's Sunday today. I was supposed to have a video up yesterday, but I was feeling a little bit tired. So I was like, you know, I'm a bit tired today. I'm just gonna rest. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I rested and I didn't force myself to film, because I feel great today. So I was like, I'll just film today. But normally we're gonna be sticking to my schedule moving forward. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for my videos. I really hope that you guys like them. I'm so excited about my trips. I can't wait to see what the Louis Vuitton in Johannesburg looks like. It does get dragged a lot as well on the Google reviews, so I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week in my subsequent videos.